see here. Now we sit, we wait. 5, 4. They give me a countdown. 2, 1. Yo, what's up, everybody? My name is RevSauce with the super awesomely saucy pod. It's gonna take me a minute. It's like it's a play on words, okay? When we created this, it was a play on words, okay? Like, I was just like silent gothic, blah blah blah, whatever I could do, and I just said, this is what happened. I was sitting with Arcana and I stumbled on what I was gonna do, right? And I just turned around and I said, fuck it. We're just gonna go with whatever. And I just went super awesomely saucy whatever pod. And I was like, okay, cool, we're doing it. All right, we're doing this shit. Anyway, this podcast is explicit, so if you are a listener, viewer discretion is advised. Because we do talk about topics on here outside of politics and religion. We don't talk about those things here, but outside of those things, we talk about a lot of, left field, right field, middle field, adult shit. So, and I curse a lot, so I'm a sailor. Arg me matey. So, and yeah, Gothic is also, he curses a little bit too, so just prepared. We got Gothic Cowboy in the building. Let's go. Hello. Let's do this. So, Gothic, how's the week been? How's your week been?
Week's been pretty good, Got a lot of shit done. Just not looking forward to next week.
And why are you not looking for next week?
I'm on call with my job, so 24/7 I can get a call out.
Got you. Okay. So it's not fun week.
No, not a fun week at all.
That sucks. So, we're going to start out with some fun stuff. So, what got you into streaming? So, the whole thing. So, let's start with the one subject here. What got you into streaming? What was your thing for streaming?
A while ago on Xbox, when we were allowed to share our screens, a lot of people were like, hey, you're doing a lot of good stuff. You're showing people how to do stuff. Why don't you get into streaming? I'm like, you know what?
Hell yeah.
Maybe I should. Easiest answer.
There you go. And what was your main game that you would play? What was the thing?
That was Grand Theft Auto 5.
Ooh, Grand Theft Auto 5. And what were you doing on Grand Theft Auto 5 at the time?
Oh, at the time? A lot of bad things. Let me just put it like that. That's where I got my first start out, my first 100 people following.
Got you. So, you do Star Trek Online. You've been doing some Guild Wars 2. So, have you been always an MMO kind of guy / JR or RPG kind of gamer?
I would say,
or did that just happen? Okay. So, like, just story driven, basically into that kind of stuff, right off the rip stuff. Now, I know that you were saying that you don't really play player versus player or PvP.
I have in the past, and that was pretty good, especially with Halo 3, where one match I was doing 25-1.
Ooh. That's some scary numbers, and the kill death ratio, that's gotta be freaking fire.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So, what got you? So, why did you quit playing PvP with people? What got you to stop to really not like it very much?
A lot of people were sending me hate mail saying I'm going to find you and slit your throat. All shit like that.
So it was the typical I'm
stuff,
annoyed,
yeah.
I'm done.
And they're like, you're doing hacks. I'm like, how can I do hacks on an Xbox? Come on.
Got you. So technically speaking, it was technically, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. It's not fun to me anymore. That's just the way it's going to go. And then, I'm just going to go play other games. But what got you back? So recently I saw on stream, or not on stream, I saw off to the side on Discord you playing Halo Infinite.
Actually, it was on streams, not on my stream, though, but...
on someone else's.
You and Cynthia basically challenged me to get back into the game.
Okay.
So
I've always played Halo. I've always had a love for Halo. That's not going to change. I played it professionally on, some type of level. John, what's up, buddy? Have not been good at it. I will put it this way. I've been against some pro players. I don't know how people eat, sleep, breathe that game. I just really don't understand. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like everybody is faster. Like my brain just can't pick up what is happening and why it's happening. I'm lucky maybe in Call of Duty aspect, and this is my Call of Duty life. 1-11 or 2-11 or 2-13 is where I'm at. That's where my brain goes. When it comes to shooters, I have never been good at a shooter ever in my world.
Oh,
Ever.
I love shooter games.
Like I've never been good at shooters. Like Halo, okay, I'm kind of decent, but most of the time it was for forage, playing with my friends, goofing around. That's where my love for Nazi zombies came in. Call of Duty.
Oh, COD zombies.
That's what started my career. What started my career was I had a group of people back in the day in line wanting to play zombies all the time. When they remastered Black Ops 1 to and then Twitch, it just blew up. Like I had a white Xbox One, I had it on the side, and I was playing it, and you would be really surprised how many people came out for it. It was just baffling to me. Hundreds of people just, wanted to play it, and I had like I had a journal out, and I was like taking names, who to play with next, and that's how I kind of met a lot of people. I don't know about yourself. Like I know we talked a little bit about offhand Nazi zombies. What levels did you get to, or what was your favorite? What was your favorite version of it?
Favorite version was on Doris. And I always try to pronounce it the German way, which is not possible because I'm still learning German.
Okay.
But my girlfriend at the time, we were the only two members in the game, and we got to level 150. Then we decided, it's got to end here. It's 10 o'clock at night for me. For her, it was like 5 o'clock in the morning. So it's like, we got to end this.
Well, so little fun fact about me. When I would play zombies, I was coming out of high school, and I picked up a dirty habit. Ladies and gentlemen, I did pick up a dirty habit. I picked up the whole idea of picking up a cigarette. Yeah. Me, zombies, that's where it all started, with smoking cigarettes and rolling a pipe and smoking homemade tobacco and, light up and go. That was the whole thing with me. Like, cigarettes started out when I was 16, when I was in high school. We don't talk about those things because, you got somebody in your house telling you, hey, you want a cigarette that bad? Here, have one. Take one at the time. So that's where my whole, being addicted to dead guys smoking is not a two kids that do watch. Smoking is bad for you.
Don't drink either.
Oh, bad for you.
No alcohol.
But no alcohol. Don't go down the beaten paths that I went through when I was coming as an adult. A lot of partying, a lot of fun, and a lot of gaming. Actually, I will be honest, a lot of partying and gaming. I'll put it this way. I don't know about Gothic. What gaming wise? When speaking of games, I didn't know you played zombies. And what was your first experience with gaming? What? I'm assuming you're older than me. I'm assuming.
My first actual experience was with my brother. Now, I'm going to go date myself back many moons ago to where you actually had disc games for your PC.
Oh, Jesus. We're going back there. We're not talking big floppy disk.
Yes. Actually,
okay.
You can go back even further with the original Atari.
Ooh, okay. Okay. Interesting. Atari. So my first ever experience with like gaming in general was cassette tapes. Lots and lots of cassette tapes.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're talking Commodore 64.
Oregon Trail, yes, that was one of the games we did.
Oregon Trail was a game on the old school Macs that everybody in my school, we all had to play, and some of us let the whole people die, the whole tribe die, because we were sick individuals as kids. Oh, they're all dying of frostbite and snake bites. Okay, it's great. We're having a laugh. Not a good idea, but Oregon Trail was a thing in high school.
Pac-Man.
Pac-Man was another one too.
Original Pong.
Ooh. See, I didn't get to experience those live action like that when I was a kid. I got to experience things through hand me down, very much hand me down. So Super Nintendo was hand me down. The original Nintendo was hand me down, because my sister and me were 9 years difference. So if she would have lived, she would have, we were 9 years difference. So she would have been 41. So she had, like, we had this glass front TV, the big fat glass, like the four things you would take off to clean the TV and pray you didn't get shocked. And those were the days in the 90s for me. It was mostly Mortal Kombat arcades. My dad would take me to like a place called Nickel Nickel or
Oh man.
And that's how I played my games. My dad was a crazy New Yorkan, so he was from the Bronx, New York, migrated to California, and then his whole family. So I got to experience the whole New York side of my family through my dad. My dad was always loud, shouting, proud. Everything in New York's better than California.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I'd hear it, pizza's better, this is better. As I was growing up as a kid, it was everything in New York is twice as better. But then when I went to New York, I went, it's basically like California, but louder. A little louder. I'll put it that way. When I went to, not the upper side of New York, I heard the upper side of New York is beautiful, but the lower side of New York, that's where I was. Like
I'm in
Brooklyn.
Western New York, and it's still pretty good.
Yeah, I heard like the snow, and I've seen on van life videos how beautiful New York can be. Like, some of the national parks and things like that.
You just had to mention the word snow.
I had to mention the snow. I said this in stream. I would like to have cold in my life, okay? One time, just cold.
And move up here.
Oh, I'll probably get lots of cold. That's the whole point, and eventually van life for me. I'll ship the snow to you. I've only been in the snow one time, and that was negatives, and I got stared at everybody in Alberta, Canada, when I was wearing flip-flops and a board shirt and regular, like, jacket, and I got looked at. Like, I was freaking out of my mind. People were like, what the actual F is this guy doing? We need to jump on him and give him thermals. What's wrong with you? And I was like, well, I'm the stupid Californian. What do I know what snow is? So you went from console, right? From the consoles and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And all that. So you were primarily on PC, I'm taking it? Like just
Primarily
DAWs and on the Xbox. So what got you into Xbox? So for me, it was LAN parties.
For me, it was my first ever gaming console.
Ooh. And which one did you have?
The original Xbox.
Oh, the original Xbox, but what color? There was different
Black
colors
and
back
green.
then.
The original Mark I.
The original. I got mine. Okay, so when I got mine, this one was, again, like I said, there's always a story with mine. It was always hand-me-down. So I got this bright orange one. Orange with the orange see-through controller. It looked like an old-school Game Boy see-through. I don't know how I guess from my understanding, like that, yes. From my understanding when I was a kid, this thing was legendary.
Mm-hmm.
I guess. It was one of the rare ones you can get. But I was just a happy-go-loving kid. I was like, oh, thanks, Mom. It came from my auto mechanic, my mom's auto mechanic to me. And it had a whole bunch of games. And, me being the Nintendo kid, I didn't realize because, I had GameCube, PS2. I didn't know what Xbox was. And then I experienced Halo, and that just, it was revolutionary to me. How you can go to a friend's house, hook up, and have 4-player that way. I was so used to plugging it all in through like a L-shaped thing, like on the PS1. I was so used to that. So what was your game on the original Xbox? What was your game?
Halo Combat Evolved.
Halo Combat Evolved. Nothing else. Just Halo.
Just Halo.
No racing games. No Need for Speed. None of that. Just Halo, Halo 2, and then the 360 we got. I guarantee Gothic had one of the first gen 360s where the red ring happened. Most of us had the red ring.
I never had
death.
the red ring.
Wow.
I would never
Wow.
play it that often. It's just a couple hours a
Oh,
day.
okay. So from the Xbox, did you just go right into PC gaming then at that
Yeah, I
point?
did because I liked a lot of how the PC streamers had banners all over their chat, and you couldn't do that on
Oh, okay.
console.
Back in the day, yes, and I didn't have the luxury of having really good computers, so I couldn't experience it like some people would. Like I'd have to go to my friend's house to experience Halo on a PC and go, "Oh, there is better graphics in this world."
Hmm.
Oh, on a CRT. CRTs were revolutionary still to this day, kids. There's a thing called CRTs and they're actually really, to be honest, they've actually lasted the teletime. They actually have the refresh rates, and if you're looking for a real good shooter experience, you want a CRT. You want a huge CRT. So nowadays you're just PC, no Xbox, just PC
Occasionally the
straight up.
PS4.
Occasionally the PS4. What on the PS4?
I have Daisy,
DayZ, okay.
and I have Mass Effect Legendary Edition.
Oh, okay. So you went from the Xbox to a PS4.
Hmm. I know, step sideways.
What was the reasoning? Was it because of the whole idea what Microsoft did back then where go get a 360 if you want to play older games?
No, actually, one of my former co-workers had the PS4 and he wanted the game, but he never had the Xbox. I'm like, you know what? I found
Oh,
one on deal.
there you go. So it's a friends thing to play online with some
Hmm.
friends and okay. Because I had the Xbox and then I had the PS4. And me, to this day, I know some of you are going to be like, well, PC's better. I agree with that statement. It is better when certain experiences, but for me, it's kind of hard when you can't afford a graphics card at the moment.
Hmm.
Your console's the next best thing. That's why a lot of you see me play a lot of Xbox. Used to be PS5, but I helped out somebody's situation, as I said in my streams and prior stuff. Arcana says, let's get into some comments real quick. Mass Effect is the best. Actually, it is. I don't know how Gothic feels about Mass Effect.
I don't even have that. I just stopped at Jesus Oregon.
Oh, so I'll just read it from here. So she says, Mass Effect is the best.
Yeah, Mass Effect 2, in my opinion, is the better out of all of them because of one
Gotcha.
character,
What's that one character?
Miranda.
Ooh,
Because if
okay.
you do the right mission correctly, you can get her in latex or latex.
You know what? You ain't wrong about that.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong about that at all. Like seriously, you're right about that one. There's special missions for that. That's not a joke. I got it. Well, I didn't know. I knew what latex was when I was a kid because I seen it. I didn't know what it was when I was until I became 18, and then I got to experience it from a friend. So that's how I didn't know tracksuits were made of rubber. I didn't know any of that. Dumb me when I was a kid. But I've been wearing latex since I've been, 18, 19. I think a friend of mine bought me a pair of latex that, back then I didn't know how to take care of. I don't know about yourself. What's your latex experience?
Been about 6, 7 years.
Yeah, when I met you, you were telling me this wild story about small shirts. Small shirts and ordering.
Actually, it was a cat suit.
It was a cat suit. Okay. And so when you went to order, did they mess up on the wrong size or did you pick the wrong size?
According to everything that was on the website, it should have fit.
Oh,
I
okay.
couldn't even zip it
Okay.
up halfway up my back.
Oh. So what they did was you ordered the right size, but it's like shirts sometimes in shirt length because we're bigger dudes.
Mm-hmm.
Bigger shoulder length. What a lot of people don't realize is with bigger shoulder lengths, like when I was getting a suit right made for me for a wedding, they have to special do it for me because of my shoulder length.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm a 3X. Even if I worked out and I got skinny, I still would be a 3X because of the shoulder length. Because it has to, I have, I'm weird. Us big dudes are weird sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Us trying to do the working out thing and stuff like that. Lately, man, I will put it this way: out, the latex stuff. My first experience with latex, I was a dum dum. I will admit this one. When it came to latex, I did realize you had to keep it in the dark. I didn't realize at the time. I thought you just hang it up and put it in your closet, and that's the way it goes. No, that's not how that goes.
Keep it out of sunlight.
No, yeah. You got to keep it out of hot places and that, and learn. So I had to learn to put it in a bag, lube it up, make sure it was, because I watched latex disintegrate. I watched it actually disintegrate one time before. I had a katsu myself, and I left it on the hanger over by my TV over here. And I didn't realize that you're supposed to not let it dry. I didn't know it was like a balloon type deal, where if it dries a certain way, it's like skin. I didn't realize that until then. I didn't really understand that. But yeah, latex. I got lots of gear of latex. I just don't wear it often because it's hot. It's always hot, and I'm a big dude. And if you know anything about latex, it does not breathe.
Nope,
Please don't breathe. It's not like regular. It's not like a shirt like this where you can breathe and stream and feel great about it. After a while of wearing latex when you're streaming, it's like you just want to go in some cold water real quick, or keep drinking water.
Hot water last night because my back was freezing because of that fan behind me. Getting up every 5 minutes and changing the thermostat.
So, you've done a whole reconstruction dedicated to the latex stuff on your channel. So, how did that become about?
Well, one of my best friends said, "Hey, you're doing a lot of, regular clothing, but you are the gothic cowboy. You need to do it in latex," as she said, with my cowboy hat.
There you go.
So,
what's your goals with it?
My goal with it is to try to wear it a little bit more often, but like you said, it gets hot.
It gets hot, and then when it's cold, it's like you're cold.
Mm-hmm.
You're all the way cold. So you have to pick. You have to find times for middle.
Because I only have like pants, only have jeans, leggings, and a shirt that I can actually wear.
Gotcha.
Need more options.
So speaking of video games, speaking of it, I will put it this way: what's your favorite game of all time?
Favorite game
and console of all time
has actually changed from Star Trek Online to Guild Wars 2.
Ooh, okay. And your favorite console of all time?
Favorite console would have to be the Xbox.
Okay. And let's see here. So you say Guild Wars for favorite game, but what's your favorite, like, as a child video game, like when you were playing on PC?
That would have to be Halo Combat Evolved.
Ooh, interesting. Okay. So we got Halo all the time over here. Halo, nothing else. So you weren't into. So when I was a kid, I was into Soulcom, I was into Battlefield, Call of Duty. Nothing but just Halo.
Well, Halo, there was COD. The game I loved, which was, I'm going to date myself again back to hard disk games, Dark Colony.
Ooh, okay. I do know what that game is, next to Doom
I'm
and all that.
I'm surprised, because not many people know it, because it wasn't that popular.
It wasn't that popular, but my friend... Okay, so my buddy, down the street, because we grew up, he moved a long time ago, and we barely speak often, but when we do, we went to elementary school, and he had this obsession with Pokemon cards. Like, if you moved his Pokemon cards in the direction of 3 inches, you were getting killed. That's just the way that went. Like, I didn't know as a kid, I had Pokemon cards, but they got jacked all the time, and CD players, and you guys know how this goes when you're on the bus when you're a kid. You start with I'm going to date myself, a Walkmans, and then it went from a Walkmans to MP3 players to, or CD players to MP3 players, so I'm going to date myself with that. People don't realize I had the metal headband. Mm-hmm. And the when you're on the bus, you didn't realize I got picked on more than I could count because I was that kid that wore Pokemon and was the geek in school and things like that. So and got in a lot of fights, as a kid because I don't know. Gothic. When you were growing up as a kid, was the same for you? Pokemon cards.
Actually, no, I didn't do any kind of card trading or anything like that.
No geeky things in high school, or I
No,
mean in
because I
school in
had to
general.
grow up real quick.
Got you. Well, I had to grow up real quick because of things that happened around me, but I was still doing the kid thing, kind of as
Never
a.
did the kid thing, As soon
Never
as
did
my
the kid
brother
thing.
left for the service, I had to be the man of the house.
Oh,
Take
okay.
care of
So
my
you had to
sister.
take his place.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I
And
never
take
really
care of.
had
So
a quote unquote childhood.
that sucks. Sorry to hear that.
That's all
You
right.
missed
I
out on
miss
a
it.
lot of cool. You missed out on a lot of cool things. Not doing the kid thing like Pokemon cards. Were you in anime as a
Not
kid?
recent, not before, but I've watched a few animes. Just finding the right one that I like.
Find the right one you like. So did you do any of the kids thing like when you had free time when you're not, being the man of the house
Not
or
really.
not really? Just go to school, eat, sleep, and then go and do it again the next day.
Hmm.
But I mean, there's video games, obviously. There's,
Now I'm enjoying the
first.
kid life.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong being. I tell this to everybody. It's nothing wrong being a Toys R Us kid at 40 years old or 30 something years old. There's nothing wrong with that because some people didn't get to experience it as a kid. I'm learning about Gothic. I haven't. I'm getting to know Gothic a little bit more and learning that Gothic didn't have traditional like myself. Because myself, we did have going to ball games and you know, having hot dogs at a ball game. Not everybody had that luxury. I have some friends just like Gothic that are now experiencing the kid stuff, like picking up Pokemon cards, going to wall. Damn, man, when I wish I had this as a kid because I had to go do adult things instead. And to see the smile, like my one buddy Terrence, that's he lives in Illinois now, he never really got to experience what I got to experience as a kid. So him opening up like trading cards for D&D and things like that is like it's like a whole surreal moment. I don't know about you, Gothic, but I'm imagining it's a surreal moment for yourself
Can be.
when you haven't you didn't get to experience it as a kid. So one thing I was told about and one thing I was asked is the Civil War reenactment stuff. This was something I was asked big time, like hardcore in the paint. What got you into it and why?
Well, I was always a student of history, and of course, being that 17-year-old boy, I always loved going to the reenactments and seeing all the gunpowder go off. And then my father goes to me at a Boy Scout event, and not many people know I was a Boy Scout, but go, hey, the big guy needs to talk to you. I'm like, oh great, what the hell did I do now? He goes, so I go to him, give him the old Boy Scout salute, and so I hear tell you want to join us. I'm like, huh? Yeah, do it. And I started out as a lowly private, and now I'm a captain.
Oh hell yeah! So you worked your way up like anywhere else.
Like
So
anywhere
how
else. Yep.
so how was that experience? So when you first started out.
Quite groundbreaking because there was a lot of things that you take for granted that back then nobody did.
Okay. So you just started out. You started out as a grunt, and then you worked your way. You worked your way up. What was your favorite experience working your way up? Along the way, you got to be meeting people and
Favorite
doing
experience,
the things.
yeah, meeting people and then doing quote unquote skits that are not planned or practiced.
Okay. So it kind of got you kind of to train yourself to be kind of like an actor in a way.
Yeah, we are all actors on a stage. I have not only the blue uniform behind me, but I have gray. I'll do anything that is necessary. And I'm also doing more than just Civil War. I'm doing all the way from the French and Indian War all the way up to Rev War, Civil War.
I find history very fascinating. I've told this to people before. I'm a history buff. I love it. I love reading about where America's wrongdoings. Back then in those times and how we became what we became, the uprising to up and down. I find that stuff very interesting.
And of course, how close we are to another war in
Uh-oh.
this country.
I think Gothic. Wait, I think we lost Gothic for a second there. Okay, you're back. Okay, you're back.
Well, it's good on my screen. Must have been your end.
Okay,
Because you phased out
gotcha.
earlier.
Got you. I will put it this way. History in itself is an amazing thing, just to learn about it. But I can go on about other things that when I was in high school, it was kind of cut. I was in U.S. history class, and I loved every second of it because feed me more when it comes to U.S. stuff and history. I'm always, my godfather got. That's how I got into Star Trek. It's a fun fact. That's how I got into Star Trek. Was my godfather. We started watching Western shows and Civil War stuff, John Wayne, and then it became Star Trek. So, little fun fact about myself. So you were a grunt, so you went from being a grunt to working your way up. So how about now? So being a general, is it like being a king of the castle technically? You get
Not
to
a
tell
general,
people
I'm
what
a
to do?
captain, so I'm still
Captain, sorry.
the highest low-ranking officer. It's more paperwork than it is anything else. And then you gotta make sure you not only take care of your guys, but you're looking at the bigger picture. So sometimes you lose yourself, and then all of a sudden, someone comes up to you and goes, "Hey, your private there is doing something not safe."
Oh, okay. So Gothic was telling me this before when we were streaming alongside. He was talking to me when he was one stream he was working on. You guys were all interested in this one, so he was working on his guns and his ammunition.
Yeah.
When I explained this to my stream, a lot of people's ears perked up, going, "This is interesting." So please explain like you did me back then, or back a few streams ago, when you were doing that and I joined Discord, about the gun stuff, because people are fascinated about this stuff. When I explained this in stream, people were like, "Wow, this is it. This is interesting. I didn't know any," because I took everything you were saying, and then when I repeated it on my stream, everybody was like, "Wow, this is interesting. Very, very interesting." There's a lot of safety that goes into it, ladies and gentlemen. On my
Yeah. When I was making these.
yeah, that's what I explained. Yeah,
Okay.
and you were going into depth about it.
Because what these are just paper tubes filled with black powder. There's no projectile. But even doing one of these, how experienced I am of doing it, because I've been doing this since I was 17 years old, and I'm almost 35 now. There's still a chance of me doing something wrong and I have an explosion. But when I was talking with Rev and Cynthia, I was more focused on what I was doing than I was listening to them. But trying to keep one ear out, if that makes that kind of sense.
You were keeping into the conversation, but not all the way there.
No, not all.
Because I think you were focused on your own safety in front of your desk.
I was doing my own procedures. Yes. But
Because you wanted to make sure everything is safe.
black powder can, or any kind of powder, black powder, smokeless powder, friction will cause it to ignite. And I've had it to where a paper tube is smoking. That's only because of the heat of my barrel. So
Okay.
if the powder happened to reach that hot barrel, you'd be calling me lefty, because I wouldn't have a right hand anymore.
So it's kind of how I kind of reference to it's like fireworks, where it's
Fireworks, yeah.
It's like fireworks where you're playing with poppers, and if you do one small move, that thing will just go up, and you're not going to know what's going to happen after that. That's how I referenced it to my stream. It's like throwing poppers on the ground, but filling up little things for guns in general. You got to be very careful with that kind of stuff, especially black powder.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I seriously didn't know what goes into older stuff like that. I didn't really understand that. So do you guys? So here's my other question: do you guys hold the swords and everything that goes alongside of the whole Civil War reenactment stuff?
Yes,
Do you guys load up the? I'm assuming you guys fire cannons and
we
whatnot
do.
too.
Yes.
So, so when you're in these spaces, my question is, when you're in these spaces, do you guys after the fact have to go and do lawn care after doing a whole show and making sure
No,
everything looks pretty
because
again?
the Boy Scouts actually come and police the field for us. And if they happen to find any live cartridges, they bring it to a reenactor immediately. Because we tell them
Interesting.
that if you play around with it, you could end up losing your life.
Oh, that's not good.
No, this is dangerous, and we have many, many years of training to recognize the signs.
So, do you get certificates and stuff for that? Like,
No,
I'm assuming you guys know. Okay,
your
I'm
certificates are right
assuming you
here.
get. Oh, makes sense. So do you get licenses and stuff too, or do you have to go somewhere before you do that to like? I'm assuming.
Basically, unit has to have insurance. That's basically the only thing we do.
Okay. So
Accident
I have
insurance.
here's my other question to you. So when doing this, have you ever had somebody be a bonehead before?
Yes, and I'll use me as a prime example. My first battle out did not focus on procedures. The only thing I'm doing is laying down suppressive fire. When we're trained to fire, when there's someone in front of you, there's 3 bands on the rifle. You have to put their head between band 2 and 1.
Okay.
I put the end of the barrel right here next to his ear and shot.
Oh, with no safety, with no. Oh wow. So that
He
means he
basically
just went
had
deaf
no
for a
hearing
second.
for the rest of the weekend.
Jesus. So how does that go when that happens? When you do that, how does that work? Do you go have
Basically,
to go
there's
buy somebody
a
dinner?
brief going, hey, you screwed up, but as a matter of fact, it was we who screwed up because we never trained you on that.
Oh, so how does that work? So do you just go back to camp when it's all said and done, and you have to make you know? Do they get you to do something like make dinner for the
No,
crew
no,
or?
because they realized it was their error.
Got you. So you guys just don't go, guys don't go off to the side and make dinner for each other when you mess up on something
No, we just
sometimes,
basically
or
have a light screaming match.
so it's like the whole Viking thing.
Hmm.
We're just gonna scream at each other and make yelling calls at each other, and so who wins the war
Yeah.
on basically. So what's the most silliest thing have you guys done? As
Okay,
Civil War
the
reactors?
most silliest, we were forced. No, I back up a little bit. We're in Guyandotte, West Virginia, which is the Huntington area now, and they
Okay.
do not shut down the streets at all. So
Oh.
we are running in between traffic. We've had
Oh.
multiple car pileups, but we
Oh.
were forced down this one alley where we're not supposed to be going. We realize this, but we have mounted cavalry coming at us. So we're told to backtrack out of the alley, but to fire in the opening where the cavalry was supposed to be.
Right.
I'm the last one in line, so I was the first one to run down. I get to the opening and I stop. And I go, Colonel, get the fuck over here. What? Didn't you fucking look? You just committed fratricide, you piece of shit. So that was
So
basically the funniest thing that ever happened.
that is interesting. So car pile up, and then you guys going through that. Now, here's my other thing is, so anybody, so like your guys are shooting and stuff, right?
Hmm.
Um, is it? I'm trying to get understanding. Do people like when you shoot? Do actual people get hurt?
There can be, because out of my rifle there is an 8-foot flame that comes out of it.
Oh, okay.
And we
So I'm wondering,
actually
you guys have like safety protocols to where
We
yes,
do.
you guys are doing it, but you're not actually shooting at each other.
Yeah. But one guy did not do his proper protocol, fell into a pit of mud barrel first.
Oh.
Go to shoot, and the breech exploded in his face.
Oh, that's a bad day. That's
That's a bad
burns and
day.
everything.
3rd-degree burns on 3/4 of his face, plus
Oh
shrapnel.
God. Oof. So what you guys need to know, it pays to, practice, make sure everything is perfect before you go out and do things. Because you could bite you back in the ass. And I'll tell you guys straight up, I've played with swords before. Where I live, you have to get licensed for that. So my state, you have to be licensed for everything. So when I was practicing, I watched people. You're holding a katana sword, for crying out loud. This is not something that you. It's in the same vein of what Gothic is basically saying. You're with these people that are thinking it's just fun and games, and you can't be that way. Especially with swords, guns, anything like that in life, you just can't. You take that, if you're gonna own one, you got to take it very serious.
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna be doing it for real, it's not a game that you could just put a prop up on a wall and you think that's. Some of us use it for protection. Some of us use it for actual reasons. And when I was training, it was hard, yes, and the swords are hard to hold because they are heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Like training, when I learned real quick, it's sharp, it's heavy, and it can cut through things real quick. But here in my state, we have to go through safety protocols for that stuff to get licensed. It's so ridiculous, but so worth it because I got mine when I was 19 years old. I was so excited. It's like, this thing's the coolest because I wanted to be like Kill Bill. That was the whole reasoning. I wanted to be the guy from Kill Bill, Bill himself. I wanted to be that. I was like, or Uma Thurman. At first, I thought she was wearing latex at first, So,
Mm-hmm.
me, in my mind, Uma Thurman still got it to this day. What's her name? My God, she's from Charlie's Angels too. Very sexy actress too. I'll get to her. That'll come to my mind eventually. Lucy Liu.
Lucy Liu. Yeah.
The whole fight scene for that. I was like, I gotta have a sword like that. That's just me. I have to. And then I ran into my first celebrity. Because my mom was doing something in the industry of drift and loans. Because my mom worked for drift loans at the time, and I met somebody that told me before I buy a sword to be careful on what I get myself into, because if you're doing it for sport, it's fun. If you're not doing it for sport, then that's a problem. Mm-hmm. And that person was Steven Seagal. Steven Seagal turned around and showed me, he hold it. I can't hold, by law, I couldn't hold one, but he was holding one, and he was showing me that, you just can't. You just shouldn't, if you get into it, it's for the sport of it. It's not for, for the faint of heart. That's my story of the day for you guys when it comes to swords and following Gothic on the whole. I did meet a celebrity out of it, though. It was kind of cool. But at the same time, they taught me. And you would think, and people that say Steven Seagal, you would think for a minute that he's an asshole, an actor asshole. No, he was actually a really nice guy. And Katie Seagal was there too, and I met her too. So I'll put it to you guys that way. Meeting Leela from Futurama was cool, and Married with Children. Married with Children will always go down as one of my favorite shows of all time. One of them, because I'm old. Al Bundy.
Oh,
There you go. Speaking of shows, so Gothic, do you have preferences of shows? Speaking of shows and movies, you talk a lot about sci-fi with me.
Mm-hmm.
So do you have go-to movies outside of Star Trek? I know you're a huge Star Trek fan.
Battlestar Galactica movies and TV shows. Star Wars.
What do you think of the new Star Wars?
I hate them. It's not the Star Wars I was raised on, but that alone. The storylines are pretty much good. Just can't say too much about them.
I'll put it this way. I'll keep it short with you with my experience of the new Star Wars. Light blades. Why are we calling them light blades? They were light swords. Or, sorry, lightsabers. Sorry. And when you got hit with a lightsaber in the keep in mind this is PG, okay? PG me. When Han Solo's in a spoiler alert if you haven't seen the movies. If you saw Han Solo in a bar, and you have Luke Skywalker going sha, and the thing's going down in 2, you don't come back from getting hit by a lightsaber, okay? Now, in the open era of Star Wars now, Disney Star Wars, they're called light blades. Forget all you know. And get this. I crack this joke every moment I talk to another Star Wars fan and they laugh. Finn goes Kami Kami Ha with the Star Saver, lightsaber, light blade, whatever we call this, and gets hit in the back. You should be dead.
I didn't even see that part.
You should be dead at this point. Motherfucker should be dead. They put him in an incubated chamber and he's in 3 more movies.
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing? That's when I said, this is not the Star Wars I know. This is not the Star Wars I know. The Star Wars I know is when Darth Maul and you're having the huge freaking fight in number 1. And you're sitting in the theater going, that was some good shit. Give me more. And it's like you get to 2 and 3 and you're just like, this trilogy to find out Darth Vader, who's Darth Vader, is an amazing thing as a kid. But this new Star Wars stuff, I tell the kids that are all into it, I'm like, you do not know Star Wars yet. Mm-hmm. Like, you need to go back and watch. Give a really good CGI for the time, and then you have to watch that 2000 Star Wars to understand what we're getting into as Star Wars fans. It was backwards, yes. Mm-hmm. And George Lucas had a backwards mind, but it all worked out in my opinion. Now, I was in the theater for The Phantom Menace, and somebody in my house fell asleep halfway into it because they said that's not their Star Wars back then. Because they sat for 4, 5, and 6. You know, it was a thing. My mom sat for 4, 5, and 6. And the Rocky Picture horror shows or something like that. So, comedy, do you watch any other, like, outside of Star Trek sci-fi movies? We were talking about this earlier. We were talking about, me and Uwu were talking about this. We were talking about Aliens.
Oh, my God.
Aliens has a show coming. They're rebooting the whole franchise, supposedly. Fox is rebooting the franchise, supposedly. So, you're not into Aliens?
Well, Aliens was pretty good. I love the Blade movies.
Ooh, Blade's good.
The Underworld movies.
Underworld was good. I actually enjoyed Resident Evil to a certain extent, too.
Yeah, Resident Evil 1 was pretty good. I haven't watched the rest of them because it wasn't as good as the original.
And Doom, I watched, too. I watched the one with
God,
Dwayne The Rock
Doom,
Johnson.
Yeah.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Let me tell you, it wasn't like Doom the games. I had to sit back and laugh at part of it, but it was not that bad. So we get into streaming. Let's get back into the streaming segment. So, streaming wise, so you Xbox, right? So you're on the Xbox. You show off. So what was next after that? What was what got you onto PC streaming? And
like I said before, it was the ability to have the custom layouts.
Okay, custom layouts
and all the sound alerts. Because
everybody tells me
do sound alerts.
Well, everybody tells me when it comes to when they've been streaming off of an Xbox for a while, right? It's the overlays and everything, but it's more of I could do a lot more with a lot more equipment, mm-hmm. and have a capture card involved, and it's much easier.
Well,
X,
my
Y,
main
and Z.
monitor when I was on Xbox was a 44-inch LCD TV.
Ooh, okay.
Because back then you could split screen. And then they said for Xbox you can't do that anymore. So I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to go to PC. I have 2 monitors.
That
Soon
makes sense.
I'm going to have 3.
Soon to have 3. That's the whole sickness of PC, man. I was telling this to Cynthia the other day. I'm going for a 4th monitor eventually. And she was like, why? Chat. I want to have a dedicated screen for chat. I see another friend of ours that has a huge... I gotta give her credit. She has like 6 different camera angles and 4 monitors and 1 big giant monitor. Okay, and she looks up at this thing, and I'm like, damn. I don't know how she does it, but if I had a big monitor like that, man, I mean, big TV up in my center of my in a Gothic knows who I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
She has 6 different camera angles. I don't know how she could do it. I know she taps on the thing and it makes it happen. I just, I get amazed when you have all this gear and you're able to go boom, 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 and
I'm
have
sure
it all
when
different.
she was first doing it, it was a learning curve.
I guarantee it. She has one for straight camera view, and then she has another one for up above, one for her table. It's amazing how she has her setup, though. I'll put it that way, all in one setup. I'm giving respect to that setup because it's like, wow, that's a lot of cables, and I'm OCD about cables. I don't know how you keep it organized. I don't know how she keeps it all organized, all in one place. So she's got all the cable ties and stuff like that. So when I met Gothic, we'll put it this way, I met Gothic through Unique Styles' stream, and when he showed me his setup for the first time, I was like, how do you? I was like, first of all, I give you a lot of respect for how you had your setup before. I was like, damn, man, how do you do it? And then you started explaining it to me, left, right, this over here, and I was just like, I would be lost in his, I said it to Gothic, I would be lost in his setup. Seriously, the old setup you had, I would be lost. Where do my hands go? I'd be Bricky Bobby. Where's my hands go?
After a little while, you get used to it.
Yeah, I got another friend that's like that with that kind of setup too, and I was like, it's very creative because I have 2 white tables myself. My setup is I went to Walmart being drunk, and I was like, I've had all these, glass tables and warped wood tables, I said, screw it one day. I'm just going to buy 2 white tables. And I was drunk. And I went into Walmart, and I was like, I'm drunk. I'm buying these 2 white tables. This is happening. And it's really satisfied, but the only thing I dislike about having 2 white tables, and I know I've been told, you could put wood underneath it if you want to do that. Put a microphone stand and this stand. I'm like, it looks ugly. It looks very, very ugly.
Well, what you don't see on mine is I have a metal bar that's hooked to my mic stand, and it's off on the side.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And that's screwed
so you
right
have
into the wall.
Oh, okay. So you have a whole modified thing for your microphone. Did you ever get the microphone? Did you ever get the microphone that you were wanting to get?
No.
I know you were. No. Okay.
Because I'm looking at another one that actually has the mute button. For me, I have to pull the cable if I want to mute real quick.
Oh. So no hotkeys or anything like that on your keyboard to make that happen?
Nope.
Wow. Wow. I thought you had like a Stream Deck. I thought maybe a Stream Deck or.
I want one
Stream Deck
for another camera.
Oh, okay. And
what? When I do the outfit checks.
Oh, okay. Okay. Got you.
So
you can show your. Got you. So you want to go with what Unique has? I know Cynthia was talking about. For me, I can't have 3 cameras. I mean, you guys get what you get in my room. I don't think you need to see any more of me. My walls are white and story time. Sports fan, obviously you can't tell, and a couple of streamer gifts that I've gotten, over the years for Christmas. I will tell you this, being a streamer, and I will tell you guys, it's a beautiful thing. I will put it this way: lots of people give a shit level, and they get you Christmas gifts, and I've been very surprised a few times, and as I said in my other show, I've been, through the gambit of shit in my life with haters, and I've had mysterious items come to my house like Guys, I've had the best haters in the world that send me chocolate, like the expensive chocolate. We're not talking, they find my address, because I've been doing this for so long. My haters would find chocolate, chocolate, pizza, good shit. And at the time when I had a girlfriend, sex toys. I was like, what? So my girlfriend, at the time, she goes, "I'll take that." I was like, I didn't know what to do with these items. Here, take that. Candy dicks. Okay, I'll eat those. My mom, I'll take the good chocolate. Like we're talking Geneva chocolate. We're talking some good shit. Like we're talking hundreds of dollars in the store.
Damn.
So when I say I was very blessed to have haters, I'm very blessed to have haters sometimes. And if you don't have haters in streaming, you're doing it wrong. I will tell you guys that now, as doing this for so long. If you don't have haters that they don't keep you on your toes, you're doing it wrong. I mean, Gothic. So, speaking of streaming, what's your most favorite moment in streaming so far?
Actually, it wasn't me streaming, but if I wasn't streaming, I would never have found people who are now considered my family. You, a couple of other people that we spoke about,
Hell yeah.
and I used to blank out and just forget about my troubles, and then someone had told me, "Hey, you need to work on yourself too."
That is very true when it comes to I've been in that boat, like where you focus all your might on streaming to getting somewhere. I've lost times, days, and places, because I put streaming in front of it. Sometimes you got to take care of yourself. And I know you're doing that now. I know you were telling me this week, the last 2 weeks, you've been working on eating healthier. And how's that journey going? How's because I know it's hard.
About 2 pounds already in a couple of days.
Okay.
So I'm happy with that.
How's the mental on that? Because you got to retrain your mind because you're so used to being in one lane.
For me, I've gone down this path a few times and stopped because I reached my target goal and then just never continued with the training. But I now realize I have to continue the training.
I remember when I quit smoking, right? So I'm almost 12 months into quitting smoking, right? I can't afford it. That's why I don't. And it's a good thing I don't because I came out of COVID and my lungs don't need any more help because I'm in asthma and I'm premature lungs. I don't even know why I started smoking. So when I quit it, the first, I just went cold turkey. No medications, no nothing, no going to the doctor, no hypnosis. I quit because I couldn't afford it. Vaping. I was vaping and smoking. So tale of two tapes, two bad habits in one, killing your lungs slowly. And when I quit, my mom took the step. So my mom, when a family member does it that you really care about or somebody that you really care about does it, it makes you want to do it. And at first, I didn't. And then you feel like an asshole. And this is the truth. I felt like an asshole when I'm lighting up and somebody can't have a cigarette. And you're doing it right in front of them. You don't realize in your mind that somebody's trying to quit and you're doing it in front of somebody. Mm-hmm. It's like you're an asshole real quick. So I quit, and I'll tell you the first experience was like I could still smell it. Everywhere I was, I could still smell it and whatnot and stuff like that. My first experience, with not having a cigarette. But then it gets better over time. People don't realize it gets better over time. It's like food eating. I'm learning now, like, you cut back on it. Like, I'm doing my best to do so. Like, I'm not eating as much. Streaming kind of helps that, really, to where I'm not picking up as much. And I've been doing the whole walking thing. Honestly, the whole walking thing has been great. Going 2-3 miles a day, it's been pretty fun. Now, I'm not where I want to be yet. My goal is to lose possibly 50. That would be great. Get down to 200 would be beautiful. Be a beautiful thing for me because as we get older, as people say, the weight goes onto your knees and fucking your back, and nobody teaches you when you're in your 20s. Hey, you're scarfing down food, my guy. Because I used to be a food machine. Before there was people like Matt Stoney that eat like competitive eating. I used to eat like a machine. So what's your goals? What do you have in mind?
Well, I want to lose 70 pounds back down to my original target weight, which I know is a long order. But
Right.
I have to do it not only for myself, but someone else who had challenged me.
Gotcha. I heard about
And
this
I take
challenge.
the challenges seriously, even though she said, I didn't challenge you, I just suggested it. I'm like, no, that's a challenge.
Well, the challenge part is because you're doing it as a friend. You know,
Mm-hmm.
as friends, when you do it with somebody that's your friend or best friend or whatever, it could be a family member too. You get in that mindset of, I want to get there before you. So you don't realize. So people don't realize when you have like ADHD or ADD or whatever in your mind. Sometimes, like myself, I have ADHD and ADD, or one or the other, and we get in our mindset. Sometimes we have to compete. Sometimes just for fun. We don't. We mean well. And then sometimes I don't know about Gothic, but myself, I obsess about things sometimes. When I'm competing, sometimes I want to not take second.
Yeah.
I was like that with racing games like Mario Kart and things like that as a kid. Maybe I get it as a kid. Or when I did sports, maybe I'm just, a little competitive in my mind sometimes, time to time.
Well, not only that, but the person who challenged me knew about my family history. And she
Mm-hmm.
goes, hey, I don't want to be a bitch here, but you need to. Because I don't want to see you in the grave well before your time.
Oh, yeah, it's like my family with cholesterol and, cancer does run in my family hard. And
Mm-hmm.
it does to people like, start now. That's why I quit smoking. Because my grandmother died of 3 forms of cancer from smoking. And probably had COPD and, you know, and things like that. So I tell people all the time, it's always a good time to always, think of the future for yourself. You don't want to you want to live long and you want to live prosper just in case, somebody in your family has kids, you could be there for that or other things like
Mm-hmm.
that. I always think that way. I always think about the future. Because, I want to be Mick Jagger, of the Rolling Stones at 80 something years old and be able to sing, dance, and do the things, It would be
Well,
nice to
I also
outlive some
want
of
to
my
meet
family
the
members.
two people we had talked about.
Hell yeah.
So if I can't do that because I'm dead, something I could have prevented.
Well, two, here's another thing. It helps with the breathing. I noticed ever since COVID, I kind of neglected my health in a little bit because you get depressed because you have to
Mm-hmm.
When I had COVID, I had to reteach myself things.
Oh yeah,
Like I had to reteach myself how to walk and do the
same.
things because you lose the ability. See, doctors. You see, when my doctors, because they had me one step away, and I've been real about this on stream. They had me one step away from the ventilator.
Same here.
If
The
I,
first time
if
having
I
it.
didn't go, because my mom was already counting. She was like that night. She was counting because they misdiagnosed me. So what happened was that I went to the, I think it was urgent care. Yeah, it was urgent care. I went to an urgent care, and they had me as bronchitis. And what I needed was steroids and an oxygen mask and the whole nines, a couple seed packs. That would have been fine. They gave me like I was a bronchitis patient, and when I went back home, nothing was working. So I was in a SAMPS, and I'm kind of mad because at that time I was really mad because it's like what we now know, me touching things. I was so mad at myself. Like you get depressed because you start thinking in your mind, holy shit, how many things did you touch? How many people did you affect?
Mm-hmm.
Why? It goes through your mind because you don't mean to, but it's out of your hands. And this is what kind of made me more of an introvert in a way because I get so sick now so quickly and I go down quick. It's not something like when I was telling Gothic when I was sick, you go down quick. Like I don't go down, I don't go down easy. I don't like when I was a kid, I bounced back real quick. I'm almost in my 40s or mid 30s, I don't get up the same from it. So when I was sick, they had me as a bronchitis patient, and yeah, it was a big pain in the ass. I'll put it that way. And one step away from it, you start thinking about real quick, real quick. Because I've had the ammonia before. This was not like the ammonia. It took me 2 weeks, and then after that, it took me 4 months. And keep in mind, after all that, I was still smoking cigarettes. Biggest regret of my world. But I was depressed, and I didn't realize until, I started hitting the stream train again. Like, my problems were not as big as I made it out to be after being sick. But that's how I met I met Gothic, through Miss Unique Styles. We've been hitting it off a lot. Cynthia, Tyler, and Jack, I call my little brother sometimes. Jack sometimes will come in left field and go, I'm like, all right, dude, I understand you. I understand you. But then I also have another stream family too. Black Sheep Gaming, as I tell people all the time. Arcana, Ooh. Ooh in my life is literally the big thing in my world sometimes. She keeps me on my feet. I will put it that way. If I fuck up in streaming, I'm being told about it. If I say something wrong, I'm being told about it. For sure. Or, when I'm being sad and blue, shut the fuck up.
Turn that frown upside down.
Yeah. How about yourself? I know you were going through your shit, and you kind of bounced back, and then now I see the positivity. I really see the paradigm shift. Yeah. I see it.
I thought I was out of the woods with another friend, but it wasn't until Cynthia, after I had said it on Miss Unique stream, that I had some troubles. She actually took me aside and go, just to let you know, even though we haven't physically spoke, I can see there's still troubles in you. Please.
I love you, but I want you to snap out of it.
Yeah. Talk to me first, please. Don't do anything stupid.
Right.
And ever since then, even though she says that she just listened, she also offered positive encouragement and savior, savior for myself.
Right. Right, and you have.
Want to admit it.
We're both. When Cynthia says we're both the same, right? We're both dorks.
Mm-hmm.
She says it. Me and you are a little different, but we're both act the same. We're both dorks, and I agree with her with that.
Yeah.
100%. Because we do act the same way sometimes. We internalize a lot of things and take things to the heart sometimes.
Oh yeah.
I mean, first Gothic. When the first time I met you, you were straightforward. Do you want to play the Division? I remember the first combo we had. Do you want to play the Division? Do you just want to come into my Discord? I'm like, okay. And then it was straightforward, and then until you opened up a bit, it went from cut and dry to, let's peel back the layers a little bit by little bit.
Peel back the onion.
It's been an interesting ride because now I'm seeing you come out of that comfort zone. Like I said, I never thought, because when you were very animated with me about PvP, I was like, I give Gothic shit all the time about Fortnite. I do. Mm-hmm. I do it because I love them to pieces, and it's an inside joke. I just try to get under his skin lightly with the whole Fortnite. It's a joke.
Sometimes it happens.
So I sometimes give him shit. I joke. Fortnite's not that bad. And he's like, no, motherfucker, I'm not playing Fortnite. No. You'll have to pay me lots of money to play that game before I ever step in that arena.
$8 million.
But yeah, that's how I met Gothic. Gothic Unique Styles. I met what I did was I was watching because I like to get to know people's communities, right? This is just me. I've always been that way. When I meet any streamer, I want to get to know their community, what they're about. Because I didn't know Miss Unique Styles was about Halo. I didn't know she was about this stuff. When I met her, thanks for the raid, bud. I appreciate that. On Trovo. I appreciate it. When I met, put it this way, Arcana, thanks for the raid. I appreciate that. On Trovo.
And Haley on
and on Twitch. Thank you for that, Arcana. I appreciate it. I'll get some shout outs around here in a minute. When I met Unique Styles, I thought she was just a chatting channel. You know what I mean? Yo, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Let's get some shout outs around. By the way, guys, I'm using Linux, so because something with Windows. with my graphics card. I don't know what happened last night, but I have my second partition dedicated to Linux. Oh, is it promo? Let me see. Is it promo? Let's see, is it promo now? Hang on a second, because my bots are different. I'm not using Mix It Up anymore. For when I'm on Linux, there's no such thing as Mix It Up. Mix It Up, I have to program that, and I'm just lazy as shit. Yeah, I don't know. That is weird. Thank you for the thanks for the flag, Arcane. I appreciate it. Let's see if does it here. See if Bot Rix kicks in. So, I thought Miss Unique at first was just a chatting stream until I dived deep into her channel and realized, oh, she does Halo and does this, and I was like, oh, I wish she'd go back to playing Halo. I watched her older streams. I wish she would start playing Halo again. That shit's fun. She had like big team lobbies. That's the fun part about Halo, when you have a big group of people together and you're just shooting the shit. That's the fun part.
But she was told, and this is a quote from her, a lot of people preferred her just chatting.
That's a shame to me. I love you, Miss Unique Styles, but it's a shame. I watched some of your Halo streams. I watched back the VODs, and I actually got to say you're pretty...
Not been bad. I haven't watched anything yet.
I really enjoy your Halo streams. Like, seriously. Yeah, for real. Like, that's coming from the It's coming from the Rev. I really enjoy that, and seeing Cynthia play Halo.
Oh yeah.
And hearing her experiences and trying to teach her things of Halo. I know we're all trying to teach our friends that are getting into Halo. It's like an awesome experience to watch people get into Halo, and at the same time, it's a scary experience because like it brings back memories, PTSD memories of when you're playing Halo with your friends. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, Arcana, but make sure to check out Arcana's channel if you haven't on Trovo. My bad. I don't know what is going on today with the shouting out. It's not working, so I'll make sure by next time this is fixed. I think it's promo. I could be wrong. Yeah, it is promo. Okay, I don't know why it's not doing it on Twitch Arena, but it's doing it on Trovo. I don't know. I have Bob Ricks on everything. I don't know why it doesn't work half of the time. Hey, Arcana, what's up on live streams? I appreciate it, buddy. If you guys are not checking out Gothic Cowboy, make sure to check out Gothic Cowboy on Twitch, YouTube. Is there anywhere else that we could find you as far as the Gothic brand goes?
Instagram.
Twitter and Instagram. So check out Gothic Cowboy on Instagram. I know.
Fact, I will put it in my chat, then I'll send it to you.
Cool. You can put it right in the chat if you like. So you guys can find the Gothic Cowboy. Now, does Gothic have any questions for me so far?
Well, if I can click on the right buttons, that'll be helpful.
Gotta love technology, man. Gotta love the technology. It hates me half of the time. It grimaces at me. Okay, so on Trovo, I don't know why it's... let's make sure we get a shout out for Uwu, too. Yo, thanks for the cast of space. I appreciate it, buddy. Making sure we're getting this all together today. Now this will also be on Spotify, Amazon Music after the fact. Apple is a no-brainer because they want to charge me $30 for the I think it's $30 a year or $30 for the month. I don't know. I wasn't willing to have my show on there if that's what they're charging me. I will definitely wait.
All right, so that's on your Twitch.
Cool. So that's where you could find Gothic. I'll make sure I'll put that everywhere for you guys. And also after the fact. Yeah, no brainer. I'll make sure that just no. Absolutely not. I'm not a fan of paying $30 like that. I'm already getting, it's fun fact, I'm already getting nickel and dime for streaming services on TV. And then I'm already getting nickel and dime now for multi-streaming and things like that because I have a lot of you guys in a lot of different places and audiences that I've built. So what's your goals? What's your goals for 2023 into 2024?
Actually,
got any goals?
Doing what I originally set up, making people forget about the rent for a while.
Gotcha.
That's a line borrowed from my favorite comedian, Michael Winslow.
Okay.
The man of 10
Okay.
million sound effects.
I'm a George Carlin guy. I'm a George Carlin slash Richard Pryor. I will put it that way. Eddie Murphy
And also
to an
help out
extent.
my friends, people who I care
Gotcha.
about.
Like, do you have any like major goals completing games, or do you have any like goals of like following goals, or
No, not really.
anything like
Just
that for
providing
2023?
a good gaming
24?
experience for everyone involved.
There you go. Okay. Now here's another question. Any tech, like any type of tech, any tech wants for next year or this year, like you got to have it to make your stream better.
New microphone,
Okay.
better gaming graphics card, third monitor, definitely some more webcams and Stream Deck.
Okay. And you're already getting the lights, so I see how this is gonna go. Eventually, I see this background turning into something else.
I want a
Eventually, I
green
see.
screen.
Yes, I see that happening. So for me, just to let you guys know, like I love my sports memorabilia. Don't get me wrong. You could tell I'm a huge baseball, hockey, and basketball fan. I would like to put a green screen in place. I do have a VTuber thing happening. I know my buddy Trex is still working on that to this day. I told him it's take as much time. If it takes him years, it's cool. As long as it comes in one piece, it works. I'm happy. At the end of the day. Arcana, thanks for the cast of space. So my goals for 2023 into 2024 is more of this show. More podcasting, maybe a gaming podcast. Just more in the space of just getting to know people. I mean, that's my goal. This is why I'm doing the podcast, to get to know people a little bit more, have some fun, shoot the shit, and shoot the breeze, and just have some fun. That's the goal with these shows. That's my honest um, stuff. Now, getting into it, you when we were talking offhand before the show, so the reenactment stuff. We're gonna go back to it real quick. You said there was a special reason why you do why you wear the stuff you do and the things you
Well,
do.
it's a labor of love, but we're also teaching people the true history, not the government history, because history is always written by the victors, and also how close we are in this country to another war.
Got you. And then you also stated too. So Arcana was the one that asked the questions. We did cover it, but I think you were streaming, my friend. So Gothic will give you a little bit of a recap of that. Well, our Cliff Notes version of it, short, make it long, short. About gun safety, I think it was. I think that's what you asked about in the reenactment stuff. So I'll let him go with
Well,
that.
as far as gun safety goes, we have basically what I would call qualifications, to where we know you can handle the gun safely, load it safely, because black powder with any kind of friction will cause the powder to ignite. So we got to make sure you can follow all the protocols on how to load it, and also how to shoot it properly, because we shoot a foot above our intended target at all times. So we can start out, half a mile away and it looks like we're aiming at each other, and we go up to within 25 feet, we're duck hunting.
Oh, okay, okay.
Or we aim off to
And,
the side.
and by the way, they do go up the totem pole as being reactors. They do go up a totem pole. There's a whole thing that they go through and whatnot. I know Gothic was telling me there's lots of paperwork that goes alongside of being a reactor, and there's a lot of dot your I's, cross your T's, and make sure that that you are safety as safe could be for the fans that like the show, to people that come out and watch. Now, here's my question about the reenactment. Have you had any famous people come out and watch you guys go hand
We
on
actually
hand?
have. Not to where I have been, but we've had Clint Eastwood,
Ooh, okay.
R. Lee Ermey,
Ooh, okay.
and I was unfortunately not able to meet him because at the time he had died a couple months prior to Gettysburg, and he was planning to be there the same year I was.
Ooh, okay. So when you guys have these celebrities that come out, or you know that they're coming out, do you guys do anything different? Do you guys like roll out the red
Um,
carpet?
Only if it's someone high level, as in the
Okay.
president or foreign dignitaries like the Queen and King of England, something like that. If we know about it, then we'll pull out the red carpet. Normally, if I'm there, I'm the one who will tell everyone the proper protocol.
Do you get any? So here's another question. I like talking about this stuff because I find it quite interesting when it comes to this stuff. So, any special request? Have you like the weirdest special request you've ever had doing this in your reactimate career?
Um, no, not really special requests because everything is just like typical. Can we shoot the gun, please? And
Oh, so it's usually that.
yeah.
Can I shoot the gun? And what's your reaction when they ask you? What's your common? You got to give them like some type of generic answer sometimes, or a different generic answer.
Sometimes generic, sometimes it's like we can't right now. We're going into the battle, or
Gotcha.
no, you cannot shoot the revolver because there's a whole lot of training that goes involved with it.
So are these? So my question is, you say that that's the reason I'm saying this, the reactment stuff and whatnot, because in the movies, if you guys watch the movies, it's all gimmicked. Everything's all gimmicked now.
Nope,
It's not gimmicked.
it's
Okay,
not gimmicked. I can
it's
tear
all
apart
live.
the movie Gettysburg real easy and show you ramrods flying through the air,
Through.
explosively
Okay,
propelled.
got you. Okay. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. You've heard it straight from Gothic. He could tear apart a movie easily.
If
So
it's a
when you
Civil War
watch,
movie, you don't want to be around me because I'll murder it.
so so you're telling me that these Civil War movies are all just fake?
No, they're actual live reenactors
Okay, so
who
it's
are
live.
doing
Okay, my bad.
the actual event.
The actual event. Okay, so it's really happening. So how about like when you go watch a Western movie?
Western movie, it's kind of gimmicked a little bit
Okay,
because you're only looking at one
I'm
or two
surprised you
pistols
haven't
going
been.
off.
I'm surprised you haven't been hired for like a movie like set,
I
since you
almost
know a lot
was
about this stuff.
for the movie Gettysburg, but
Oh, okay.
you had to be in the hobby for 5 years. I was in it for 4,
Oh, wow.
so that you
Wow.
had your
Okay.
proper safety.
Got you. Is that like is my question is to you, is that like a goal of yours, maybe one day to be maybe somebody that's in a movie working on guns, the training and stuff like you do now for reactment? Is that something that you're
I
maybe in
would
the
like to
future thing?
do the weapons specialist role, but I don't foresee that happening
Gotcha.
because you
Because
have to be a
you really
gunsmith and all that rest of that stuff.
what I really like about yourself is the fact that you're all into the safety of it. And when you do talk to me, the reason I had Gothic on here is for these reasons, like this and streaming. I really get a kick out of him talking about what it takes to do certain things. For it's teaching me something at the same time, and I thought I would bring it to my audience because it was like, I like the fact how he's so descriptive about what each step of said product is. You go really into depth about it, and then you explain why that is. And I really enjoy that. It's what I like about these documentaries that I watch and stuff. I watch a lot of ID channel. Like, I'll put it that way to you guys. Like, I am into the homicide, Jeffrey Dahmer, what goes into, firing those kind of weapons, and why. Why do they choose these big guns? Reasons. I'm all into that kind of stuff. Like, you would be surprised about me. I watch a lot of, homicide stuff and Civil War stuff. I'll sit back. I'm bored half of the time after a stream, or since I do this full time. I sit back and I watch war movies and stuff like that, and things like that. So, just little things.
And one of the, we'll go back to the questions part. One of my famous questions I'm always asked, and I give my most famous answer. The question is, how come in the Civil War they fought in the big long lines when the cavalry splits? And there's like 3 or 4 meters in between everybody. And I go, my famous answer is, the Army is slow to adapt to change, even in today. You have a muzzle-loading weapon, but you
Right.
have the very first conical
You have a
bullet,
front line.
the minié ball or mini ball,
Ooh,
where before you had a round ball. This is not accurate at all. This is like throwing a football. And you have a much longer kill radius. 175 yards for this. 1,000 yards.
yeah, okay.
And
That makes a lot of sense.
also, with the flintlocks, or the weapons that fire using flint, they have a misfire rate of 30%. Now, introduce the percussion cap, it'll fire 90% of the time.
Got you.
And then the Army is like, wait a minute. In the Revolutionary War, we had kill radius of 30%. Now we're having 99%. Oh,
Right.
cap lock, and we have conical bullets. Let's start trench warfare.
Well, see, I've had family. So, speaking of family, I've had family in World War II, and my uncle that's Vietnam. So I hear all the stories all the time about how the military back in the day, how things have changed but not changed, and we haven't adapted. So I hear this all the time. So I know where you're coming from with that, and different way bullets are, and things like that. The way my uncle worked under West Warland back in the day, in the not in the train. He was I think he was a type guy that, guys, the thing with Robin Williams is real. That is a real thing. Where's Vietnam? Good morning, Vietnam. That is a thing. My uncle would type the script for those things. So he'd be the guy that goes and runs to the guy that goes talks to the other guy, and then they would go proofread it and then give it to like Robin Williams' character, to where they're reading it verbatim for the military radio. And then you would have comedy people and whatnot come in and come out like that. So that's a little bit about my family when it comes to military stuff. I get told stories all the time and things like that. So anything for the future of streaming? Like, do you have any like plans for the rest of the year, as far as like any special like charity stuff or
Not yet. 'Cause,
Christmas stuff?
Still new to being an affiliate. I
Okay.
made affiliate in February.
Okay.
And really there's no any great, call for a donation thing.
Gotcha. So fun fact about my affiliate on Twitch.
But
I've
if
had
there
so
is, it
many.
would be for the Wounded Warrior Project.
Got you. I know Arcana does that. I know Arcana's a former Navy SEAL, so she.
Oh, I did not
Navy.
know that. So
Yes.
thank you for your service if you're still watching.
She talks to me all the time about it, that she served a long time in the Navy and things like that. So we were talking. We were. She goes, "See, I'll see you on live space." And Arcana says, "Thank you for yours."
I actually am not a member. I am basically a military historian. I just wear the this one for my brother. It was in the 1st Cav Division in all 3 overseas tours. And
Got you.
one of the units I portray, the 1st New York Veterans Cavalry, formed the 1st Cav Division.
Interesting.
So it's my personal homage. But the unit I'm
So
with
you guys are
now-
based. Your reactivant is based out of New York, right?
Ours is mine current unit, the First New York Dragoons Troop F, actually came out of Letcher State Park here in New York, not far away from me. And the captain of Troop F was actually from my area.
Got you. So I'm assuming the working out goes alongside of it too. So when you're doing these reactments, you're going to be more healthier and
Yes,
can have
and
more
I can fit back
strength.
in the uniform coat.
Got you. Okay. There. I'm assuming it's not just for competing with friends reasons, because when I asked you the first time, you were like, "Oh, it's competing with friends,"
No,
and
not
now
for
it's about
competing
working
reasons.
out. Just for you, Arcana. You asked.
Now, I'm only going to keep this coat on for a little bit because it is 100% wool. I can't even button it.
Oh, that makes okay.
With the vest on, well, I can button it right now, but
With a vest on, you're kind of like,
yeah,
you're pushing it a little bit.
because I'm pushing out right now and I feel the buttons ready to pop.
No, well, you don't have to wear it. You don't have to wear it like for a very long time.
No,
if
I'm,
you feel
I'm getting it off
uncomfortable.
right now and it's hot.
I'll feel that. Well, there you go, Arcana, just for you, since you asked.
And Arcana, I'm going to do this properly.
Here you go, buddy. He's got the hat for you.
I'm going to do it properly.
You're welcome, buddy. There you go. See? We were talking about it. We were talking about it. So just to recap to you guys, we were talking about the React. We were talking about video games, whatnot, earlier. And one thing I will say to everybody that's watching, he loves Halo. See, this is one thing. This is one thing I didn't know about Gothic, that he was really into Halo until the other day. He started talking about it in depth of things that I remember in Halo. Now, was Gothic a skull hunter in the game?
For Halo 3, I was.
Okay, so you probably
I found
remember
90% of the skulls on the Xbox.
What's up, Cherry? How you doing, buddy? Welcome into the podcast. There was this level I used to play with my friend that was deaf. He was really good at Halo. I was so afraid of him when we get on. We get on at night, and he knew everything on Guardian. The map, the small map with the gold room, the blue room, and hide up the little vine and camp and then BR, snipe your ass.
Mm-hmm.
So he would beat me all the time. And he told me to get good. It was really hard to get good when you knew, like I asked him, how do you are able to hear me? He was losing his eyes because he's deaf. And so he'd use his eyesight and he would see me walk across the rooms. So there was the gold room, the blue room, and the other room. That's how he would snipe my ass out all the time. So in playing Halo, I learned a lot from him about snipers. I was never good at snipers. Battle rifle, okay, different story. The original battle rifle, different story. Punch, shoot a little bit, punch, kill, sticky grenade. That was my thing. Like, I was good at Halo 3. Halo 3 was my jam. I love the sandboxing in that game. There's nothing that tops that game. To me, Halo 2 to an extent. I loved Halo 2. Halo 3 just took it over the top because, I had lots of friends in high school that played it. Like, we were like, pictured like NFL huddles. We were in classrooms literally talking about kills, 360 no scopes, and how did we do this? Because that was at the time, if you guys remember, YouTube blew up. Videos were happening hardcore left and right. Everybody was trying to no scope each other. Forge maps. Everybody was making a Forge map dedicated to something. Halo went on for like years. Until Reach came out, and then you have that argument, which one's better? Reach 3, 4, and everybody's on certain camps. And I'm like, I am not a fan of the jetpacks, never was in Halo.
No.
I thought that kind of took me away from what Halo was. But then I got certain friends that love Reach. They eat, sleep, breathe, heat, Reach just like they do 3. So I can understand it.
Also,
Plus,
like sniping, I'm a self-taught sniper myself. I would
okay.
never pick up a sniper rifle in Halo because you cannot go prone like in COD.
Oh,
Now
wow.
in COD, I had an even higher KD rate because I'd always
Okay.
snipe, and I found out the best sniping positions in every map.
Interesting. Okay.
And the
Do
only
you have a
time I
favorite? Do you have
got
a favorite
killed
Call
because
of
I
Duty?
Call of Duty COD 2, Black Ops 2.
Ooh, Black Ops 2. Okay.
That's
I
where I
started
really
my.
honed my sniping skills in that game.
I'm gonna give you guys a little fun fact about me. My favorite Call of Duty will be COD 3.
Yeah, COD 3 was pretty good as well.
I will say COD 3. The reason why I say COD 3 the way it is, it was made by Treyarch, and you were able to ride vehicles. The only Call of Duty game you could until recently, until Warzone came out. COD 3 was great because you could ride vehicles and do the things. You couldn't ride all the vehicles, but you were able to ride certain vehicles in multiplayer. It was kind of cool. It was way ahead of its time. I'm an old school fan of war games when it comes to things like Battlefield 2042 or Battlefield 2041, things like that. That's what I get a kick out of. Now, games that I would like to play on when I do get myself on a PC, the couple of games I want to play. MMOs for sure. When I get back on PC, it's going to be
I gotta
MMOs.
get you on
That's
Stowe.
on Stowe. Oh, what does that stand for?
Star Trek Online.
Oh, Star Trek Online. Same with well, I'm gonna take you one step further. I'm gonna go if I'm going that way. I'm gonna go Star Wars Online or the
SWTOR.
Old Republic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I'm
loved
on there
when
too.
I had a graphics card. Old Republic was my thing.
But I gotta
I
get
loved
you on
Old
Stowe
Republic.
into the Shining Squad fleet. My fleet.
Got you. You know, Star Trek. It's funny. Whatever one was on PS4, there was a VR version. I remember playing the shit out of that. That was Star Trek and me go a long way. Star Trek Wrath of Khan will always be my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Will always be my favorite movie next to the one with the dolphins.
The surprise
Search for
battle
Spock.
while I was waiting for you.
What was the other one that I liked a lot of back in the day? The
I think it's like
crossover
5.
between Kirk and Sir Patrick
Generations.
Stewart. Yeah, I like that one, and I also like the motion picture. I don't know why. I was weird, you know.
My favorite has to be Star Trek 5. I know a lot of people hate it because of William Shatner directing it, but most of the
Five
screenplay was good.
wasn't bad. 5 wasn't bad. I didn't mind it. I don't think it's the worst. Can't be okay. So it can't be any worse than the new Star Trek movies
Yeah.
with James. Not James
J.J.
Cameron. What am I
Abrams.
doing? J.J. Abrams. I will say this. I know what they were going for. I got the allure of it, but I fell asleep in the second one.
Well,
I get what they were
even
trying to
J.J.
do.
had said he didn't want to follow the original Star Trek line, but he did.
Yes. Yes. I went, this is the motion picture, and the other one is
Wrath of Khan, and then the third one
Wrath of
was
Khan.
Search for Spock because the Enterprise was destroyed. Come
Yes. Yes. I went, we're doing this in reverse, but new age.
on. Mm-hmm.
And then they had the other one that was made not by J.J. Abrams. J.J. Abrams was an executive producer. He wasn't a director of it. That was Jerry, the guy from the Fast and the Furious franchise.
Yeah.
Came in and directed that. Lynn. It didn't do as well as I thought it was going to be. You could
No.
tell that they did not follow any type of beginning, middle, and end to that. It's kind of like Star Wars. It's like these companies touch it, and I'm like, it had its time in the sun. Just, you know, you don't need to do much. And the books are there for you. That's the thing with all these franchises like Halo. There's like Microsoft fucked up Halo Infinite. Where I've said this all along, they did. Now they're going to go and make another Halo to So I tell this to Halo fans, get ready for this. Microsoft is literally going to reboot Halo on Unreal 5. And I'm sitting here going, why? Please just remake the game. All you have to do is just fix Halo Infinite and make it run properly for people. That's all you got to do. Halo Infinite's a good game in its own right. It's open world. Just keep adding to it. You'll be fine. But in Microsoft faction, since everybody hated it, just like 5, we got to make another one. And we got to reboot it. Now, I'm really grateful. One other thing I will say this, another favorite franchise of mine, they have not botched. Well, kind of, not really. I don't like buying the DLCs, and I think Gothic knows what I'm talking about. Is Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
I love me some Destiny. I don't mind the allure to it. I just wish I didn't like the new changes because I ran through the game so many times with friends. The beginning, the entry level stuff, 20 different times. I can't believe they've altered all that to where they made it hard for me as a person because I'm so used to one thing. When you're so used to one thing and you change it, it kind of throws a loop for me. But I get why they did it. I totally understand why they did it and the reason they did it. It's to make it quick, fast, to the point. I get it. But I like the whole slow burn, though. Cade was sick, and then they vaulted everything, which was disappointing to me. But they're bringing it back.
Yeah.
They signed Nathan Fillion for a lot of money. They better be good.
Better be.
Now, for Gothic, is there anything more you want to talk about? Is there anything for me?
Pretty much covered everything you wanted to cover.
Is there anything for me? Any questions for me?
No, not really.
Not really? No questions for me? Gotta have no juicy questions for me.
Any
None.
questions I asked you, I've already asked.
Have you asked me questions?
On your streams, yeah.
Well, what questions? Well, we're in a podcast. He said, you gotta ask me the questions again.
Oh, boy, I gotta remember now.
Yeah, I probably one of them I'll ask. You've been asking me for a minute. Was it? What got me into streaming, gaming wise? I said this on the last show too, so I know I'm gonna have many of you ask me the same question, probably a couple of podcasts in a row. What got me into streaming was my best friend. My best friend got me into this years and years and years ago. Thought I was going to be a color commentator for the NFL, and I like the art of talking to people. That's just for me. The art of talking to people is what. And in real life, I don't know when to shut up. So, I bury myself. If you guys get to know me in real life, I bury myself a lot. I don't mean to. I have my dad's That's why my dad got punched in the face a lot of times in the bar, because he didn't know when to shut his mouth, and he went after the biggest person in the room. So my dad broke his nose many times because he didn't know when to shut the hell up in a bar, and my dad was drunk a lot, as you know. And I have the same complex to where I just don't know when to stop talking sometimes. And I feel like I gotta get the last word in sometimes, and that's when people go, I want to punch you in the face. And that's how I got in fights a lot in high school. So, you know, you don't tell me what to do, and, you know, when you do that, you know, I've learned now you don't do that. Mm-hmm. You don't run your mouth. You don't run your mouth because you piss people off. I'm learning that now this year alone I have. So the biggest lesson you have learned so far in streaming and the happiest moment in streaming, Arcana asked. I'll let you go first.
Biggest moment I've learned, be more forthcoming. Because a lot of people do not know that I was suffering from mental problems, to where I had even thought, would this world be better off without me? The answer is, for a few people, few special people I may add, no. The world will be less without me. The happiest moment, when I made affiliate.
Ooh. The biggest lesson I've ever learned, that's hard. Be more boisterous. I've learned stand up for your beliefs when it comes into this. You know, if you see an injustice in streaming, why stand up and say something? I think I go along of being quiet and shut my mouth and just let it go, where I should, you know, point it out and be more boisterous. Like, for instance, when a platform's doing wrong, and trying to help my friends, you know, stir in the right direction when it comes to streaming platforms, and making sure they make the right choices and stay on the right path, you know, for their brands and what they're trying to do. My happiest moment in streaming, oh shit. God, you guys are putting me on the spot. That is so hard. Honestly, you guys get to see it behind me. two 10K plaques there. I'll put it. Opening them was the best moment of my world. You realize, and I will tell Gothic this one. It was a surreal moment because when I got those plaques, I lost a friend from COVID that was a streamer, and when you open it, it's. I'm gonna say this in a good way because I'm getting a little emotional speaking about it. For me, when you put so much effort and so much time into something, and you get told by people that you're never gonna be anything, and you go to the task of working so hard at it, and you put a lot of things to the side for it, and when you get there, when I got to 10K on Trovo, I'll put it this way to you guys, to all of y'all, I had to sit back for a moment and just take it in. I didn't know what to do because you were so determined to get there. I had to get off stream just to soak it in. So real. I had to take a breathing moment and go walk outside, and then that's when the happy tears start happening, because everything that you've worked hard for, what you put into into everything you've put into, is paid off. The friends you've met, the relationships you've met, the people you have lost. It just, you get choked up to the point to where you just start uncontrollably crying because how many people you've affected in this world. I don't realize now as a streamer now, I still don't understand how many people I've affected in this life. And I'll tell you guys, I tell my mom this all the time. I tell my family this. It's something I wouldn't trade up for the world. Mm-hmm. For me to put a smile on somebody's face, it's an unbelievable thing. To have everybody dance in a room with you as you're struggling with something, it's just unreal. Like, my biggest, that I will tell you, to get into that 10K plaque, even coming back after having my affiliate taken away from me, which I shouldn't have had taken away from me. Now it's completely okay to do now, which I'll share the story to Gothic. So I got taken away from the affiliate program a year ago. Not for restreaming, though. Was for fact running my mouth not running my mouth. It was more of trying to do the right things, having my affiliate taken away from me, offboarding to do streaming, multi-streaming, because you want to follow by the rules. I did it too many times a year. And when I was in emails, as you should shush and not talk too much, well, I talked too much in emails. So when an admin went to look at my account, they saw that I was streaming to other platforms, and there went my affiliate immediately. You don't get terminated off the platform, you just lose your affiliate. Permanently. It's gone. So I learned that lesson, but honestly, the happiest moment, sorry that's a long drawn out, were those plaques and the people I've met. And, even today, meeting Gothic, Cynthia, Miss Unique Styles, Jack, Bella Sun, a lot of the people that I've met, man, hey, I thank streaming for it. Streaming's kept me out of a lot of trouble. Mm-hmm. A lot of trouble, and I've met a lot of just people that hey, if, they ever came here, like yourself, Arcana, anybody came here, we would have beers. That's just a fact. I'd go have a steak, dinner, and a beer with you. What is your biggest...
to when we visit.
I bet you will. My one friend did. He holded me to Chinese food, and it happened. We sat, and we had Chinese... Well...
Because who's going to be coming with me.
I know. TGI Fridays, we got a bunch of those. So, or a nice steakhouse. I don't know very many of them, but what is one of your pet peeves?
One of my pet peeves? Ooh.
In streaming.
When I'm trying to learn something, and this just happened recently, and people are spamming sound alerts at me.
That's a good one. Okay, I didn't know that one.
Because at that time, when I was first learning Guild Wars 2, I was telling Jack and Amat, keep it up, and I will time you guys out. I'm trying to learn something here.
Oh, you're like me, where you're learning and your brain's not keeping up with the speed of what's going around you.
because
Okay.
we had to do a jump puzzle,
Oh, okay.
and
So
I
your
hate
brain
jump
is trying to
puzzles.
keep up with
Yeah.
it, and everybody's trying to be funny around you.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. My biggest pet peeve, here's my biggest pet peeve when it comes to streaming, and Gothic's going to have a big laugh. It's the artist. The one that come in my stream and they sit there and they give me like we're at a menu, and they're going to sit there for 5 minutes and tell me straight the fuck up, can I join your Discord? Can I do this? Can I do that? And I'm like, no. And I keep trying to tell you no. And then at the same time, then they want to come in and they want to tell you your stream sucks.
Hmm.
Well, okay. My pet peeve is that, like, just don't come in and shamelessly promote. Like, I don't care if you want to play all the alerts in the world. You know, I can care less. You know, don't backseat game me either. That's another one. That's one of my other pet peeves. Don't backseat game me. If I'm playing a game, if you already played it, hey, you could teach me it. But don't just tell me, like, oh, in about 10 minutes from now, you're going to be killed by this guy and there's a whole huge storyline. Like, great. Thanks. Thanks.
And
I
there's
appreciate
one
you.
question that you haven't asked and none of your viewers have asked, which I'm surprised, because
What
you
would that
know
be?
the story. Why the name?
Ooh. Well, why the name?
Well, actually, it's a long story, but I was working in customer service, setting
So,
up
Streamy's explaining why his name is Gothic Cowboy. So, you're in
setting
for a
up
treat.
displays for sales, and nothing was going right. I mean, anything that could go wrong did. And my boss was blaming me for not getting it done in time. It's like everything's not working right here. So I'm already stressed out. Now I have to drive an hour and a half after work, and I'm already stressed to go to camp. That day, there were drivers on the road who did not know what the frick they were doing.
Right.
So I'm now even more stressed out. So I have liquid paper white face.
Oh.
I go to camp. Finally get there. I gotta go for a walk. I gotta relax, but I want to get out of my work clothes because I don't want to be smelling like work. So, unbeknownst to me, I put Gothic style shirt and pants on, cowboy hat and boots with spurs. Same ones that I'm wearing. With this hat. And I go for a
Oh.
walk. Now, this is back when we had CD players.
MP3 players or CD players?
CD.
Okay. So, I have a question. So, Gothic Cowboy. So, here's the question. Music wise, I know you like, I've heard some of the music, but back then, what were you listening to? I listened to
A
like
lot
Pearl
of
Jam,
military
Pink
stuff
Floyd, a lot of
to
military
keep
stuff.
cadence. And
Okay. Do you listen to anything else like Pink Floyd, Rush,
oh yeah,
U2?
oh yeah.
Okay.
And at the time, of course, my disc ran out, so I was popping it out, putting a new one in, and I heard someone in the camp go, "Hey, come out here! Look, there's a Gothic Cowboy. How strange!" I like the name, so it stuck.
There you go.
I've been Gothic Cowboy ever since.
Okay, since we're talking about names, the reason the Rev Sauce name happened is because, well, one, Rev is for reviews. So I used to do tons of reviews, phones, you name it. The sauce is because, well, I'm a little saucy anyway. I'm
you're
saucy
Italian.
anyway. If you're in my stream, you're up for a trip. When you're in my stream, you never know what you're gonna get with me. So I tell people, don't take me serious the minute you take me serious, because I told this earlier, the episode 1 with Arcana. I have a composition book, right? So when I see an injustice in the world, I see something happening in streaming like drama, I try to have a little fun. I try to be a clown mostly. So when you see me talk about stuff in the streaming world like Kick, or you see me talk about something on YouTube like Sniper Wolf, it's all in gimmick. It's a character. Rev the Devil is a character. It's more of me being funny. I'm taking what I see with the Wayans brothers, Brandon Fraser, old school like George Carlin, and I'm taking it and I'm putting it, to use, or Howard Stern, kind of that kind of, radio broadcasting. And when I do it, you guys know you're going, why is this guy going like crazy? And it's all character. I'm just having fun with it. I'm having fun where I get you guys to laugh as I'm doing it. It's all in fun. Some people take it as I'm starting drama. It's not like that. It's more of me just being funny with you guys and just acting a fool. I don't know. Some people come to me and they tell me it brightens their day up to see a wild guy on the computer doing stupid shit. And some people have a bad day in their world, so that's why I do it sometimes. Sometimes I just go and act like a dork sometimes just to be a dork on stream. I find myself to be the Carlton of streaming sometimes, the Will Smith Carlton of streaming, just because I can. I've been doing it for so long, and I recognize the signs with people when I see people not really chatting in chats or lurking, and they're having a rough day. So I just try to make people, just a little brighter in the day. Sometimes it comes off like shit. I will say this: my biggest embarrassment is when I go on and sometimes I don't realize, and then shit goes to shit, and I realize after the fact, and I'm like, oh shit, I wish I play my shit back, and I'm like, wish I never said that. That's totally stupid of me. Why did I say that? Sometimes I play myself back and I go, I hate my voice sometimes. I'm like, why did I sound like that sometimes? Fuck me. And yes, I do curse a lot, ladies and gentlemen. I know. I was raised that way. Me and my mom curse like sailors. I cannot help myself.
I curse too.
I
Especially
curse
when I
like
get
a
pretty
sailor. I
salty.
can't help myself. Arcana, any more questions for us? Anybody here? Questions more? I'm up for it. I love these questions so far. Just to let you guys know, this will be on Spotify after the fact. The Gothic wants the video. He can have the video for it. Anyway, we should wrap this up real quick because Gothic's got to get to food.
Yeah.
I hear food. Okay, so where can we find you, Gothic?
You can find me on Twitch at Gothic Cowboy 1. That's where I stream most of the time, 7 days a week from 5:30 to 8 o'clock Eastern time in the afternoon.
Okay.
And bonus streams on Saturday and Sunday.
Got you. Guys, you guys can find the show over on Super Awesomely Pod on YouTube, X, Instagram, soon to be TikTok. I'm talking to Arcana about co-hosting, possibly, maybe helping me out, clip some things here and there. She doesn't have to be here all the time. We're in talks to that, maybe doing a gaming show behind it. You guys can find me on Spotify, on Amazon, not Apple because they want me to pay a huge amount of fee for it. And things like that. Let's see what else. There's lots of things coming up for this show. I know the next interview will probably be either Cynthia or Sir Joseph Pesci, and stuff like that. I want to thank you all for being here. Gothic, thanks for the second episode.
You're welcome.
And I'll see you guys on the next one. I'll be streaming here after for you guys.
And we'll see
So cheers.
you out there.
Perfect. There we go.